Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Black and White United Show. I'm your host Andreas. Thank you so much for tuning in with me this afternoon. What a win. What a win. Pies, 24 points over Adelaide in the qualifying final. We're into the prelim. Roll the intro.
0, 1. Let's get started.
Today's video is brought to you by the Hopper Bros Barbecue. For all your tips and tricks and everything barbecue, make sure you give them a follow on Instagram. Now, everybody knows I'm not a big stats man. I'm not going to just jump on videos and just throw stats at every single aspect of the game. But this game in particular, there's just some key notes that I just want to bring up in particular. So 49 to 50 inside 50s in Adelaide's favour. So pretty much even. 15 free kicks to Adelaide, 15 free kicks to Collingwood throughout the game. So pretty much even. Contested possessions, 135 to 139 in Collingwood's favour. Uncontested possessions, which is when the game sort of broke open. They were getting marks, obviously, on the wings and, just like spreading as opposed to the last game that was really congested. 158 to 220 in Collingwood's favour. 78 intercepts for the Pies. 45% of time with the ball in the last 10 minutes. 45% in the last 10 minutes. So we're playing the minutes there quite well, just like Flyers have been. That's been the mantra for, since our premiership year, just to play the minutes out as much as possible. And I feel that we did that. And we also kept Adelaide goalless in the last quarter while they had, chances in the last quarter to score goals. And we were able to stop their flow and keep them goalless. We only scored the one goal, but it was a bit of an arm wrestle in that last quarter. But we were able to hold them off quite well and then seal the game. Now, in my preview to this game, I said that I didn't think it was going to be like the game a couple of weeks ago. I said, and you can go back and check it, do I think it's going to be like that game, like I said at the start of this video, where we dominate the first and they come back in the second? I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be an arm wrestle the whole time. And then at the start of the second half, we put on a really good show. And we start to control the game in the third quarter, the premiership quarter. And that's my pick. I don't think it's going to be Collingwood blitzing in the first quarter, Adelaide blitzing in the second quarter. I don't think it's going to be, an arm wrestle or anything like that, and one team getting a little bit of the edge towards the last quarter and running away with it. No. This is going to be an arm wrestle at the start in the first half. And then I said in the third quarter, Collingwood will turn it up and they will show their experience. They will show their finals maturity. And we did just that. We did everything that I thought was going to happen. And did I think that we were going to win by 24 points? No, I thought we would win by 10 or 11 points, to be honest. But 24 points, you take that against Adelaide, in Adelaide. And now that means we go straight to a preliminary final. Jordan Tagoe, 26 possessions. Josh and Nick Dacos both got 24. I mean, Nick got 24 possessions, not his highest throughout the year, but, that was as good as a 40 possession game because every time he got the ball, he did something amazing with it. That goal he kicked in the first quarter on the outside of the right foot was amazing. And also the play in the first quarter where he's kicked it to Lockie Schultz and he's run around the Adelaide player, and I think he's kicked it on his left, or it might have been his left foot, I can't remember, but he's kicked it and it was just the angle was just how you could make that kick, and he's kicked it straight over to Schultz, and Schultz has got the ball kicked into the forward line. Elliott's taken the mark, and Elliott's kicked the first goal of the game. That just set the tempo quite well. And I said in my preview, I wanted to see someone like a Jack Crisp really break the game open and dominate. I don't think he broke the game open and necessarily dominated the game, but I thought he was massively influential throughout the entirety of the night, throughout patches. Just quickly too, listening to some talkback radio early this afternoon, and there was some points made in regards to Dan Houston. I don't know what game people were watching, and maybe I was watching a different game, but I did a full watch along for it. But Dan Houston's so some of the stuff that he did in the packs and everything, all right, there was probably a couple of times he could have chased when he didn't and stuff, but when he had the ball, his use of the ball was fantastic. It was just a real shame that a lot of his kicks just outside the forward 50 going in, whether he's having a shot on goal or kicking it to the top of the square or whatever, or just attempting to get the ball out of the congested play, was smothered. And that's a credit to Adelaide's pressure more than anything. But I thought the way he got the ball and he dished it off, his hand passing outside the pack and just his presence was really important for us last night. I also felt as if the unsung hero, we can go through like Darcy Cameron playing a great game, Darcy Moore playing a great game, Jamie Elliott, I think he got 13 or 13 disposals, but he kicked 4 goals. I said he'd kick 3, he kicked 4, kicked that last goal right at the end of the death just to put the cherry on top, which was amazing. I'm not going to talk about the pathetic Adelaide crowd. I'll leave that for everybody else to talk about because I'm not going to waste my time and waste your time listening to me ramble on about them. But Harry Perryman, we can talk about Brozzy, we can talk about all the defense. Q was just amazing. Just Harry Perryman goes as the unsung hero down there. And the stuff that he does, some of the intercept marking, just finding himself in a really good position at crucial times, especially in the first half where it looked like Adelaide were winning the arm wrestle. And then you got players like Jordan De Goey. It's finals X Factor. Unbelievable. Another one we have to touch on is Lockie Schultz. He's didn't kick a goal, set up 4 of them. His pressure around the ground was just phenomenal. His tackling, even when he didn't make the tackle, just getting to the play when he kicks it and just nudging him and pushing him off. I was a little bit disappointed with Brody Myercheck, but he still presented, just the shots in front of goal. You gotta nail them. I know we won. We're in a prelim final, but there's still little things that, and I'm a realist when I look at it, and I'm over the moon. Don't get me wrong. I celebrated last night. I barely slept. I'm wrapped that we're in a prelim because we're 1 foot in the door and we are so far ahead of what people think we are. I just want to see these little moments where we have a shots on goal. And I said this at the start of the year, especially the game against Bulldogs when McStay, Elliott, Geordie all missed easy goals in front of goal and it was so annoying. If we can just take our opportunities and we can just score those goals when we need to, we can put teams away. We could have won by 50, 60 points last night. Let's be real. I don't think we win last night, though, without losing that game against Adelaide a couple of weeks ago. I think that's really important to look at as well. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, I know there's people that love my channel and they come on all the time, and I respect everyone's opinion, even if they don't agree with me or whatever. And I encourage healthy debates, especially from Collingwood supporters that have a different view on things. But Mason Cox, when he plays in our side, he's not an X factor. He's not the match winner. But I'll tell you what he is. He's a very important piece to the jigsaw puzzle.
We have the key ingredients to be an amazing football team this year. And it is so obvious it's right there. Now, I know with Billy Frampton coming in and you got all these tools and you're going to have to do this and do that and move the magnets and whatever. But it is so obvious, and I don't understand why so many Collingwood supporters and football people in general can't see how important Mason Cox is to the Collingwood structure in allowing Darcy Cameron to be the best ruckman in the competition. When he is the best ruckman in the competition, we don't lose. It's that simple. We don't lose.
Imagine having a jigsaw puzzle, a really complicated one in front of you, and you just got to try and find this little piece here, and then it just makes everything flow. Structurally, that is him. Now, McStay could have played if he was in good form and gone in the ruck against Phil Thorpe, but I don't think that he would have had as big an influence as what Mason Cox does in the ruck. Mason Cox didn't win every contest. Mason Cox didn't get many disposals. Mason Cox didn't take many marks. Took a couple, but he didn't take many marks. But he was able to get the ball, contest and bring it to ground. First quarter, doesn't take the mark. Should have been a free kick for chopping the arms or holding the man. One of the two. The umpire decided no, play on. Okay, whatever. The ball's gone to ground. He follows it up with the second effort. All the Adelaide defenders run at him, and he's able to get the hand pass off to Pendles. Pendles missed the snap. Doesn't matter. Same thing happened again. He did exactly the same thing. Side bottom got it. Side bottom goal. There was a play. I think it was. I can't remember if it was. I think it might have been Lipinski's goal, where the ball came over the top and Cox wasn't in the right position, but he went to the pack, and two Adelaide defenders went straight to him, and it allowed Lipinski to follow up his kick and bang, kick a goal. Structurally, he makes Darcy Cameron better. And I have said this from the start of the season, from when I started doing these videos. He's the one that should be in the side. He's had great VFL form. I just see everything working better when he's in the side. Tap Ruckman, he's one of the best in the competition. As a Ruckman, I don't know if Sam McCool was talking about being in the top three. No. Purely based on tap, he probably is. Structurally, he makes us better. It's very hard for us to lose when he's in the side. That's my opinion on that. I've shared it all season. I'm not going to harp on it about it because the results show for it. So I think there's enough proof in the pudding with that one. I could go through the entire list of players. I won't, but I could, to the point where Ryan Steele's come on straight away in the last quarter. Only got a few minutes in the last quarter, and he's found himself in great positions. Got a few possessions, and just set up the link perfectly. I don't think the link from the back line to the forward line at the start in the first half was there, 100%, because we were sort of bombing it forward. But the good thing was we were scoring, which was really good, and we were keeping the scoreboard pressure on them. Adelaide, I don't think, played a really bad game. I just think that we got on top of them quite well, and we learnt from our mistakes a couple of weeks ago. The forward 50 entries weren't as much as what they were last time, but they were a lot more effective, and we fixed that part of our game up. Our centre clearances, you can mount an argument. We got beaten sometimes in the centre at crucial times, but our back line stood up, and our back line was able to drive the ball into the forward line. And then we can talk about Darcy Moore's intercepts, Billy Frampton's intercepts, Bruzzy's just pressure, his tackling. Same with Ned Long. I mean, the boys just took it to the next level. And it was just a fantastic night to be a Collingwood supporter. It was a fantastic night to see how much work and effort these guys are putting in. We haven't had the greatest, month and a half leading up to this. We've only beaten Carlton, Richmond and Melbourne. So there's not much opposition there. But the game that we lost against Adelaide, it felt like a turning point. Hang on a second. They're starting to get things rolling again. And we were able to do that properly in this game. We were able to do it in a spurt against Melbourne last week. But I said in my preview, the third quarter in this game, we're gonna unleash, and we did. And how good was that to see? So we got the week off again. It's going to be a long break until the prelim, but with that being said, I think the break between the home and away season and the finals, and as a football lover in general, I hate it. We had two games. We had the Legends game and obviously the Gold Coast Essendon game as a bit of a void filler, I suppose, which there was some sort of footy that week, which was okay, and obviously the awards and everything too. Lucky we played on the Thursday night. We got it out the way. When we can enjoy the weekend and the week off next week. It's going to galvanise the players. It came at the right time. And even though we have a little bit of a wait, let's just hope all the other teams remaining in the competition at the moment belt the absolute hell out of each other. So then we can have a week off that we've deserved. We finished in the top four. We've made the qualifying. We won the qualifying final. We're into the prelim. Those prelim pies, it was a typical dirty Collingwood backs against the wall sort of win. But this time it wasn't so much backs against the wall like the Collingwood supporters and myself in general were thinking, this is going to be really, really difficult like it was against West Coast in 2020. It's not that. It wasn't that. It wasn't even like being a bit undermanned against Fremantle early in the season. We won by like 14 points or whatever it was. This was Collingwood supporters going over to Adelaide, Collingwood supporters watching at home, Collingwood supporters around the country, knowing that we could give this a real hot crack, and we're pretty confident going in, knowing the mistakes that we made just a couple of weeks ago. Let's enjoy it. Let's watch the other games with anticipation. Let's watch the other games with an eye on how the jigsaw puzzle will all unfold for the prelim final in a couple of weeks. But we're at home. We're at the MCG. We're going to turn that MCG black and white like we did against GWS a couple of years ago. Regardless if we play Geelong, if we play Brisbane, if we play Freo, if we play Gold Coast, whoever. It's our home game. We're going to be behind the boys. And let's make it to the grand final. Let's do this. Let's make it to the granny. Assess the situation then. Let's find out who we're playing in the prelim. And let's just give it a red hot crack. The season's not over. We are in a really strong position here to chase number 17 and bring football home where it belongs. Make sure you drop a comment. Make sure you tell me what you think. Call it as you see it. And as always, go the Pies.